Imagine the air so cold, it burns your lungs. The wind howling like a hungry beast, and 6 men vanishing into a frozen hell in 1873. Only one came back, his eyes wide, his belly full of secrets, darker than the night itself. Was Alfred Packer a survivor or a monster? Stay with me for the next few minutes. This story will grip you, haunt you, and make you question everything you believe. Hey, welcome to Papa Todd Stone. If you're here for history that inspires and terrorizes you, heart-pounding history, stick around, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's dive into America's history of the most infamous cannibal. It's November 1873 in the San Juan Mountains of Colorado. Near Breckenridge, it's a frozen wasteland. The air literally bites your skin, sharp with the scent of pine and decay. Snow piles and drifts, taller than a man, muffling all sound except for the relentless wind. A banshee, a wail that promises death. Alfred Packer, a 31-year-old, wiry, disheveled, dirty, smelly little man with a patchy beard, calloused hands, and a glint for greed. He stands at the edge of Breckenridge with dreams of gold in his mind. He's no hero, just a Civil War vet turned prospector, chasing the American dream like so many before him. But the West wasn't kind. It was harsh, especially for the white man. It was a beast waiting to devour the unprepared. Packer gathered 5 others: Shannon Bell, Israel Swan, George Noon, James Humphrey, Frank Miller, men as hungry for riches as much as he was. Their boots squeaked on frozen mud. Their stomachs growled louder than the surrounding wolves. Hope was their only fuel, but hope doesn't last long when the cold sets in. The first week was a test. The snow fell like a curtain, burying the trails, turning the sky a bleak gray. Breaths came like sharp daggers. Clouds hung in the air like ghosts. Fingers numbed and nose turned red from blood and frost. They huddled around pitiful fires. The wood crackling could barely overcome the sound of the wind, its growl and roar. Alfred's so-called map was a joke of scratched lines, completely useless against nature's fury. Their hunger hit like a punch. Their stomachs twisted and growled. Even their throats dried up. They boiled their own belts and any leather that they had. The bitter taste coated their tongues. They chewed the inner bark of pine trees until their gums bled and their teeth ached. The men's laughter faded to curses, their eyes sinking into their hollow sockets. Suspicion grew thick as smoke. Whose turn is it to collect firewood? Whose turn is it to scout? Whose turn is it to die? Nights were even worse. The darkness pressed in, heavy as guilt, and the wolves encircled and howled, echoing their own despair. One night, under a moonless sky so black you couldn't see the hand in front of your face, something snapped. Voices were raised. Fists were clenched. Was it madness? Desperation? Alfred's gaze turned to Farrell. His promises of gold now as empty as their packs. By morning, the camp was silent, too silent. When spring's thaw revealed the truth in Lake City, 5 men's bodies laid sprawled across the landscape like thrown-away toys. Their skulls caved in, flesh stripped, and bones scattered. Alfred stumbled into town 2 weeks later, feeling pretty healthy, a little bit fat. His clothes were torn, but his pockets were full of coins, and his lips were sealed around a secret nobody wanted to know. This isn't just the crime, it's a mirror into the soul. Alfred Packer wasn't born a monster. The frontier revealed his monster inside. Picture it. All alone in a frozen landscape, staring into the lifeless eyes of your comrades, knowing their flesh might be your only chance. Did he kill in self-defense? Or did his hunger erase his humanity? The National Archives holds whispers of his trial in 1833. Tears streaming down his face, he claims, "I was starving to death. I had no choice." The judge saw it a different way. He didn't buy it. The nation called him a cannibal and a ghoul. But what would you do when the line between right and wrong blurs and survival's the only prize? Who are we to judge? Packer's story isn't just a horror, it's a warning. The frontier demanded everything: blood, sanity, morality. He paid with his soul, and his shadow still looms over every pioneer who was in that same position, who faced the same abyss. It's a tale of what we lose when we forget who we are. But here's the gut punch that could have saved them all. The Ute people who called these mountains home for centuries called it. They said, "Don't go." Their chief, Chief Alray, a figure of wisdom carved from survival and stone, warned Packer's group to wait out the winter. Alray's people weren't just surviving, they were thriving. Packer and his group probably looked at that as something simple. It's easy to survive out here. Look at these primitive people. They're doing it, so can we. The Utes knew San Juan's every mood. They knew how to dry elk meat to last for months. They knew how to dig for roots in the ground, bury them in baskets for safekeeping for long periods of time. They could read the whispers of the clouds, knowing when a blizzard was approaching. The scent of their fires carried sage and safety, their songs blending with the wind, their tracks invisible to the wolves. The Utes had learned to dance with nature, not fight it. But Alfred and his men, they turned away, blinded by greed and deaf to wisdom. They saw the Utes as relics, not the teachers that they were. Chief Array's words, "Stay, or the mountains will claim you," like fallen snowflakes melted into the spring day. Their arrogance was their doom. If they'd stayed with the Utes, learned how to dry elk meat, preserve roots, they would have survived till that spring instead of carving each other's flesh. The archives hint of this tragedy in faded reports. The Utes found their bodies first, their silence louder than any verdict. This is bigger than Packer's failure. It's about what we lose when we ignore those who know more about our landscape than we do, those who know the land best. The Utes' skills weren't magic. They were hard-won through generations of trial and tribulation. They respected the earth's rhythms. They knew how to store food, read signs, and endure. Ignoring them didn't just kill 5 men. It ruined a chance to grow stronger and wiser. So what's the lesson for us today? In a world of wildfires, floods, and storms, we're still Packers sometimes, rushing forward, ignoring nature's warnings. Indigenous knowledge, like the Utes, offers us a playbook: sustainable harvests, reading seasonal shifts, living light off the land. Think urban gardening, where we grow food in concrete jungles, or zero waste living, cutting excess, like the Utes only cut what they needed. Their wisdom teaches us to listen to the earth. Imagine applying that today, learning from indigenous-led conservation to protect forests, to using traditional methods in storing food for emergencies. Packer's story screams it. Ignoring wisdom leads to ruin, but listening builds resilience. We can grow, adapt, and thrive, but only if we respect the lessons that were carved in our past. This is why Packer's story isn't just a ghoulish ghost story. It's a call to action. The frontier wasn't just about surviving the mountains or the Indians. It was about surviving ourselves. The Utes knew that harmony with nature wasn't a weakness, it was power. Today we face our own frontiers. Some call it climate crisis. food insecurity. I think it's a disconnection from the earth, but we can learn. Start a garden, support the indigenous voices, study sustainable practices. Every step is a nod to the wisdom that Packer ignored. Picture this, a city block where neighbors come together, growing food, just like the Utes learned how to gather those roots and preserve them. Or our schools teaching kids to read weather like trackers read a trail. His story is not just about cannibalism. It's about what happens when people think they know it all. So let's prove we've learned something. What's your take? Could you survive Packer's ordeal? Or would the cold break you? And how can we use the Utes' wisdom today? Maybe in your own backyard. Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this story gripped you, share it with somebody who likes true crime or American legends. I like to talk a little bit about the frontier, those who came before us, their grit, their hard work, things that we should all still be trying to endure to be better at. So if these lessons of grit and stories of America fire you up a little bit, be sure and hit that like button, turn on the notifications bell so that every time we upload a video, you'll be ready to watch the next one. For more on Packer and the Utes, be sure and check out the link below to the National Archives. I'm Papa Todd. We'll see you in the next one.